Welcome into Three-Man Front. Guys are live at Social Taco, having a little bit of connection issues. Technology, having some technical difficulties early on. But Landrum Roberts, Pat Smith, and Conrad Van Order are there at Social Taco. Of course, doors open at 11. They're there to celebrate. Of course, it's Taco Tuesday there in the Taco Terrace of Social Taco. We appreciate those guys. I'm Damian Mitchell hopping in just for a little bit. John Saber, Molly Robinson, all here. These are the fun moments where it's putting out fires, but it's a lot of fun. It makes you sweat a little bit.
Yeah, hey guys.
What's happening?
I'm wearing a sweatshirt because I'm always cold, but I'm dripping in sweat right now.
The best thing for us to do right now will probably be to claim that they're on the air right now.
Speaking of claiming, how about the Auburn Tigers? They were at one point in time just known as the two-time national champions, but now Auburn has officially claimed nine national championships along with 15 conference championship. Again, however you recognize them, a lot of people went by AP/coaches poll at the end of the season, but now Auburn has entered into unfamiliar territory. So now the Auburn Tigers will now claim the 1910, the 1913, 1914, 1957, 1958, 1983, 1993, 2004, and 2010 for their national champions. Okay.
And that's not including they added on a couple of conference championships too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I want to say at least there were 3 that they added from really a good long time ago.
And now for 15 conference championships, 15, it goes back to 1904, 1908, 1910.
That's a dynasty, all right.
I'm about to say the glory days.
Yeah. 1913, 1914, 1919, a little bit of a gap, 1932, 1957, 1983, 1987, 1988, 1989, three-peat, 2004, 2010, and 2013. So now it brings the total for now. Auburn is now the 9-time national champion and a 15-time conference champion. Again, everybody joked about UCF hanging the banner back in 2017, and they were national champions. It officially now goes into the Auburn record books as they are now the nine-time defending national champions.
Do you think now that Auburn's done this, that other schools might follow suit?
Well, they kind of followed suit with the school in the state.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true.
It took them a little while. Maybe they are allegedly little brothers, so sometimes it takes the younger siblings longer to do things. So it's taken them a little time to catch up. But the one cool thing I guess I do like about this is that opening weekend, when Tigers come back to Jordan-Hare, they'll be able to see all this. Like, signage is going up today.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So at least all of it now, granted, it will be a little bit brand new. So I don't know, maybe that the house settlement, maybe some of that money's going to this or something now.
That's a good
I'm not
point.
quite sure, but it feels weird happening in the moment, but also
that's how I feel about it too. It's okay, yeah, and everybody always debates, in 2004, specifically 2004 season, when they go undefeated, and everybody, they handle their business in the SEC championship, and pretty much everybody was just waiting on pins and needles for the BCS poll to announce that Auburn would be eventually playing USC for a national title, which they played each other the year before to start off the season. And the big debate was always, if Auburn would have played in that national championship game, they would have won. Well, now we ain't got to talk about it anymore. You are the national champions for 2004. Now, do you have co-champions, at least in your record book? Which, again, I'm in the boat with John of, okay,
cool, yay.
I'm not upset about it. Hey, Auburn, plant the flag. Like, you got it. Hang it on the banner. Like, you claim the national championship, so be it. I am perfectly fine with that. And again, I look at it as anything before, Greg and Cole, they always had this joke of, before 1995, 1996, none of those championships even matter. Well, in this situation, we're going all the way back to 1913, 1910. Right. It's, like
women weren't allowed to vote at that time.
This is true.
We weren't even allowed to play.
Well, at that time, yeah, kind of. Yeah. I mean, that's why it shifted, but maybe a little bit before. Yeah, we haven't been playing long.
Right.
But we're relatively new at the time. But yes.
Again, Auburn fans, 205-834-9450. You can text in, call in. How do you feel about this? Does it give you kind of an ego boost, I guess you would say, of saying that, hey, we got championships and we have multiple?
And I know it feels weird about splitting national championships or whatever. It's like, oh, it was so long ago. Well, the last one we really kind of had was back in 2003. It's not that long ago. Yeah, it's well over 20 years. But even in that era, when we had the BCS, when everyone's like, okay, this is what we count on, this is what's important, we still had a split national championship. So why not claim it? People are claiming all kinds of other things right now. We're about to claim Canada, about maybe buy Greenland. Like there's a bunch of things we're just out here doing.
Right.
So
we got the Gulf.
Why not?
I think that.
I guess the one thing that was, to me, would probably be weird about it. It's one thing for Auburn to do it, like, hey, we want all these, we want all that. But then, like, for it to be, and I understand, like, in either their record books or, like, their media guys or all like that. But when broadcasters come here, when you see it on ESPN, it's like, ESPN's like, hey, 9-time champion. It's like, all right, now it feels a little bit weird.
Right.
Like, I don't want to say it's a joke between me and the boys, but like it's hey, we're all saying this. Someone told us we were that, so we're going to go by it. We're going to hang the signs. We're going to do all that. But it does feel weird to see probably when CBS Sports or when Fox or something, because I believe that game, even though you can listen to it right here on Jocks next week between Auburn and Baylor, the game will be on Fox. So I don't know who's on the game. Let's just say if it's Klatt, we're like, oh, hey, 9-time champion. Auburn Tigers. It's going to feel a little weird to say, but also,
right.
It's fine with me.
So
feels weird, but fine.
Somebody texted in and it brings up a great point. Horton from Waterloo, who texts in and says, "Good to know that we, as in Auburn, are finally getting recognized as the blue blood we are." So now does Auburn reach? Because they now have 9 national titles, which is a lot more than a lot of other teams in college football that consider themselves blue bloods. Somebody may be an alumni, but is Auburn
Birmingham
now?
Southern?
No.
Oh,
no.
I'm UAB technically.
No,
so
hey, go Big Red.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah,
all right, got it.
Back in the 1890s when they were running shop. How many national championships does that?
5.
Okay.
70, 71, 94, 95,
Hold
97.
on. Do you need to go back and count? Because
how many do y'all claim?
Yeah.
I think the only one that's split. We split it with Michigan, like 95 or not, one of those years. Yeah, I think it was 95 or 96.
But you count that one?
Yes.
Okay.
But Michigan does too.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
No, of course.
Because it's like one was the AP, the other was the coaches. Yeah.
I get it. So now does Auburn reach blue blood status? Are they there now?
To me, yes, because the way I always viewed a blue blood, it's not a team that has won like a lot necessarily. To me, it's a team that has either won overtime or won like early on. Like to me, a blue blood is someone that's just old money that did it way back in the day. They may not necessarily be relevant and be big and be good right now, but they are the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Kennedys, like that old money, the old families like, oh, I can say I came over on the Mayflower, like those kind of people. Whether or not they're working at 7-Eleven right now, that to me, a blue blood is someone that had it way back then. And
Minnesota, you are a blue blood.
Oh,
God. Yeah. Now, you have to also have a history of consistently doing it. Just because you won one in 1930 some odd, like I'd almost was it A&M or TCU? It was a Texas team that had won like 3 straight national championships. It was like in the 1930s. I can't remember if it was A&M or TCU or whomever, one of them. And I'm like, I might be willing to call them that because they did it back then. But also, if that's all they did, just because you did it, like, I ain't going to consider Swanee or Harvard or Yale a blue blood because, yeah, they did it back in the day, but they ain't done it pretty much since. So it seemed like Harvard, okay, yeah, they did it in the 1800s, but you ain't seen the like of it since. Okay, no, probably not. Swanee, yeah, you got a couple titles, but I don't see you kind of lately. Alabama, yeah, you've got some when your state's not even 100 years old, But you got some recently, too. You got some 20, 30 years ago. You've done it over time.
Yeah.
Now, Auburn, we had it in the early part of the 1900s. We've got some in the mid-50s. You've got some this century. Auburn very well is probably a blue blood now.
Oh, boy. There's some interesting feels, especially from the Auburn fan base. Somebody texted in and says, I could understand 83 claim, but this is just embarrassing, and I'm an Auburn fan.
How's embarrassing?
Right. You have more national titles.
And not only that, like, it's from legitimate sources that doing it. It's not like I'm going to belittle this right here. Like, if Josh named a national champion, like, we could come on and say, hey, they're not, and then someone runs with that.
Right.
All right, like, that's a little, okay, I kind of get that. But no, but like, these are reputable places like the AP, like the coaches polls that have been out. Granted, I don't know if they're still running now, but it's quote unquote legit places doing it. So
yeah,
what's the problem with it? Just because it's not one of the big 2 or 3, it's not the blue blood of polls.
Yeah. So
I don't know why you feel embarrassed about it. Maybe because it's happened in your lifetime. You didn't grow up saying, oh, we've got, like, if you're in your 30s or 40s and grew up like Alabama fan saying, oh, we have 12, we have 12, we have 12.
Right.
But at some point, they went from like 4 or 5 to like, we got 12 actually. And one day it went from a couple to double digits.
Yeah.
And so this just happens to be that day for Auburn. It may feel a little weird or wonky now, but like 3-4 years, it'll be gone, man. You ain't got to worry about it. Honestly, you could be up to double digits at that time, maybe.
Yeah, and somebody else takes in and says, as an Auburn fan, I don't like it. We are not Alabama. Speak it. In 1973, Notre Dame beat Alabama, and the Tide still claims that year. Then in that case, Auburn can claim 2013, too.
Go ahead. If you want to claim it, claim it.
Yeah.
But they're to me, like, that's why I didn't fully have a problem with what UCF was doing. They claimed ones that, like, hey, they were undefeated and necessarily didn't give a shot. Okay, fine, cool, I'm cool with that. But the ones that you went like 9-4 and then claim one, okay, that looks a little weird.
Absolutely. 205-834-9450. Continue with your text message and your calls on the other side. This is Three Man Front on Ja.
It is 10:16. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front. Pat, Molly, Conrad, we are in studio. Unfortunately, we're still trying to work out some technical issues at Social Tacos. So I know many of you like to come have lunch with us on Tuesdays. So we appreciate that very much, as Landrum's going to continue to try to work on the technical issues on that side, but we will continue on from in studio here high atop Red Mountain. If you're tired of worrying about your roof, whether it's your family home or a commercial building, Abide Roofing delivers tailored solutions for every need. At Abide, it's about more than just a new roof. It's about a team of highly skilled pros like Travis Lloyd and his great local team. They do an A-game job every single time. They work with precision and pride, using only the best materials, guaranteed durability and lasting value of everything they put on your home. With over 25 years of trusted experience, they have the expertise to get the job done right the very first time. Call them today, 205-941-6223 for a free consultation and estimate, or visit abideroof.com. Abide Roofing, quality, precision, and customer satisfaction every time. That's abideroof.com. So you just heard the guys, Conrad and gals, talking about the Auburn announcement this morning. Your immediate reaction to Auburn now claiming 9 national championships?
I mean, I think the immediate reaction, probably like a lot of people, is, I don't know, why are you going back in time and doing this? And, I know a lot of people out there would point, well, Alabama claims a bunch of different national championships. And okay, that's fair, because they do claim a couple that I know some people don't choose to recognize. But to go back and claim 7 national championships, and I guess it's, it makes the fan base feel good. I really don't know what to say. I feel like it's kind of a silly thing to go back and take the time to do this, but at the same time, I can understand where you want to be able to claim as many national championships as possible. It looks nice. You can put more years on the scoreboard or around Jordan-Hare Stadium, and it makes you feel good. But it's just particularly bizarre, especially when you have things like 2004, which I can understand where some people say, well, Auburn was robbed of a chance to play for a national championship. But do you really think that Golf Digest awarding you a national championship means that you get to claim that as a football program.
Yeah, and
I
that's a
don't know.
real thing for you young people out there. I was on the radio on a daily basis in 2004. There was a joke going around that Golf Digest was going to name Auburn the national champion. And so what did they do? They came out with a mock edition of the Golf Digest magazine, and on the cover was Tommy Tuberville with the headline, Auburn's #1. They awarded Tommy Tuberville a lifetime subscription to Golf Digest. The gesture, though unofficial, it did symbolize the recognition of Auburn's special season that year. Yeah, they did get screwed out of playing for the national championship, but they didn't play for the national championship. No. So to claim the 2004 national championship is fraudulent as all the other potential national championships that Alabama claimed back in the early days of college football. The NCAA record book, just for the purpose of this conversation, they recognize Alabama with 15 national championships, not 18, 15. Meanwhile, those years in which John Cohen, in a release this morning in a story at Auburn Undercover, he says, our visible national championship recognition is now aligned with the well-established standard used by the NCAA's official record book and our peers across the nation. Nowhere in the NCAA record book of the 1910 Auburn team are they recognized as a national champion. That's why I don't. If you're going to quote NCAA standards, what are you talking about? Now, again, this is a fun conversation that I wish this would have happened 2 months ago because we really would have had a lot of fun in the middle of the summertime. But since we're 4 days away from kickoff, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. But I do find it extremely humorous that this is a conversation that Auburn felt the need to right the wrongs of a record book, that their name's not anywhere to be found.
Well, and how about the statement from AD John Cohen, right? And at the beginning of it, quote, for too long, Auburn has chosen a humble approach to our program's storied history. We have taken the humble approach. So now you're not humble anymore? Is that what we're finding out as the athletic department is no longer humble? But this is good, though, because now I officially declare Alabama has 25 national championships.
25?
Can I say Nebraska has like 50?
Sure,
Yeah.
why not,
Just
Molly?
for fun?
Because Alabama claims 18, and then they have 5 that I guess we would all agree are invalid. So that would take you to 23. And then as we discussed yesterday, since Michigan cheated, Nick Saban should be awarded the honorary national title for his last year and Kalen DeBoer. So that would be 2 in the same year for Alabama, which I guess is nothing compared to the 7 that Hugh Freeze picked up overnight, which is still, that's got to be a Guinness World Record for most national championships won in a single day. But yeah, so Alabama now has 25 national championships if Auburn is going to claim 9. That's where I'm planting my flag on this.
Well, here's the thing. Back in I think it was 1983, the New York Times computer poll had Auburn as a national champion. So I have no problem with them claiming that, because that 1983 national championship, that would be no different than somebody claiming the Football Writers Association national championship from 1961 or whatever, just using that as an example. Got no problem with that. But the 2004 Auburn team didn't play for a national championship.
No.
Yeah, they went undefeated. They're one of the best teams in America, but there was no publication outside of Golf Digest that was it was a mock national championship. It was making fun of the fact. That's the part that I just don't understand. But listen, fan bases are going to claim whatever they want to claim. Auburn people, you want to claim that? Great.
UCF did it.
True.
I was about to say
people,
their claim is just as valid as UCF's.
You want to be like Conrad and claim 25 national championships? Sure, put it on a T-shirt.
Well, and I mean, go and look at, okay, just going back to Alabama, right? The Coley Matrix technically awarded Alabama the national championship in 2016, but they played in the national championship game against Clemson that year and lost the game. They're not national champions. I don't care if somebody awarded you that title or some publication or some poll somewhere said, well, we actually think that was the best team. You lost in the national championship game. Why would that even be in the realm of unclaimed national titles? You played in the championship game and you lost. And I don't see Alabama fans clamoring for that, just like you bring up 2004 for Auburn. You can pound the drum all you want if we were robbed of an opportunity.
And they were. They were. Played. But
you didn't play. There was a national championship game played that year. Auburn was not one of the 2 teams that participated in that game, a la you're not the national champion. It's pretty simple.
Needless to say, people across the country are having a lot of fun. The fact that Hugh Freeze went to bed last night, the head coach of a program that had 2 national championships, and he wakes up now with a total of 9. It's pretty amazing over a 24-hour period. So, hey, Maybe they'll hang those banners on the outside of Jordan-Hare that needs to be pressure washed.
Maybe so.
Maybe that was the whole key. Let's claim 7 more national championships to put around the stadium so we won't have to pressure wash it.
It's just funny because for a long time, a lot of people love to make fun of Alabama fans for claiming illegitimate national championships. And now, Auburn, you are no better than Alabama fans because you are in the exact same boat, whether you like it or not. And I know some people, well, we don't claim this as Auburn fans. Well, your athletic department does. So, sorry. They did it for you.
Yeah. Well, people nationally, they're having fun. And, hey, slow news day, I guess. I know Matt Moscona, he took a shot at the great state of Alabama. I know that he had something funny that he posted about an hour ago. Chris Vanini from The Athletic, he just posted something. Auburn claiming 7 more national championships means they must also accept UCF's 2017 NCAA recognized claim.
And the irony of that one, obviously, is the reason they claim that is because they beat Auburn in the bowl game, and that was the Auburn team that beat Alabama and Georgia in the regular season. So transitive property rules for 2017.
And like I said, I'm sitting here looking at the official NCAA website that recognizes. So I know we make fun of the NCAA, but I guess if there's someone that would officially be able to claim certain national championships, I don't see UCF listed in 2017. It's Alabama. I mean, really the last time that we had a so-called, and it's really not a legitimate split national championship, in 2003, LSU and USC. LSU was the BCS national champion. The Associated Press awarded LSU the national championship, but the Football Writers Association of America, they declared Southern Cal as the national championship. So, goes without saying. There's been a lot of different organizations, whether it was the College Football Research Association, the Helms Athletic Foundation, the National Championship Foundation. The AP didn't start till 1936. The UPI started in 1950. Football Writers Association of America started awarding a national championship in 54. The National Football Foundation in 59. The Coaches Poll didn't come into existence until 82. The BCS in 98. College Football Playoff in 2014. So I'm just laying that out. We've had different times throughout college football's history, different publications and different services that the NCAA recognizes as the national champion. So,
and let's be honest, there's a ton of programs out there that could go back and say, well, we're going to claim X number of national championships from the past. It's not just Auburn. It's there's a lot of schools out there could do that, and maybe they will go and do that now. But again, it's more of a, I don't know. I think it's kind of funny. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. If it makes you feel better as an Auburn fan, great. If it doesn't make you feel any better, then that's also great. It's just, it's funny. It's humorous.
And it's also a situation where we know that young people today really don't care about that.
No.
They could care less whether Auburn has just added 7 national championships or Alabama claims 25. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's how much money that those individual schools are going to be able to pay these 17 and 18-year-old kids to come play football. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if who Nick Saban was or wasn't, or Bear Bryant or Chuck Jordan or anybody else. Doesn't matter.
No, it absolutely does not. But hey, it's something to talk about. And like you said, I just wish that this had come out in, April or something like that, as opposed to a week and a half before the kickoff of the Baylor game. But maybe they did this to overshadow the fact that everyone's freaking out about how many quarterbacks are going to play in the Baylor game.
See, I was going to say, this has been such an interesting week and a half for Auburn, because you have the quarterbacks, Hughes saying he could play all 3. Then you have you have the play calling. It's been a fun ride.
It has been.
And we appreciate that. Hopefully it will continue on during the regular season. Water doesn't need an invitation. It can find its way into your crawl space, bringing along mold, mildew, pest, and wood rot. But APS has the solution. The APS crawl space encapsulation system seals out moisture, blocks pests, can even help reduce your energy bills. And with added protection, your crawl space becomes usable. Crawl space problems don't get better over time. They get better when you call APS, 205-951-9717, 205-951-9717. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. APS, protecting Alabama homes since 1977. Coming up next, we will talk to Mike Griffith from the AJC DawgNation.com. He joins us next on Jocks. 10:31 on Jocks. Welcome back. Pat, Molly, Conrad. Landrum will be joining us here momentarily. Unfortunately, our hookup at Social Taco had some technical issues, so we will not be there live today. So for those of you that make it out to Social Taco, and we appreciate that greatly each and every Tuesday, we will be unable to do the show from there today. But still get by Social Taco and enjoy some wonderful Mexican cuisine, and we will hopefully be back there very, very soon. School's back in session. It's time to roll into a new season in style with Courtesy GMC. Brand new pricing today. Get up to $17,000 off all new GMC Sierra 1500s. You can save up to $13,000 off the powerful Sierra 2500 HDs. I've owned a couple of Yukons, and this SUV outperforms every other SUV in its class. You can save up to $5,000 on every Yukon XL, and the all-new 2026 Acadia. Plus, every new GMC comes with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. That's peace of mind that will last. Hurry into Courtesy GMC in Trussville today, right off of I-459 exit 32, or go to their website, courtesybirmingham.com. Joining us now on the Higginbotham Hotline from the AJC covering the Southeastern Conference, and also DawgNation.com covers the Bulldogs as well. Mike Griffith joins us here on Three Man Front. What's the deal? Kirby is normally talking at this time. Has he got a lot going on this morning? Did he push you guys back 30 minutes?
I guess we're going to start the 12 o'clock a week early. Kirby getting to it, staying a week ahead of schedule. So here we go.
All right, good deal. Well, before we start talking about what's going on in Georgia camp and the rest around the conference, I don't know if you saw the story this morning, and I got a feeling I know what your response is going to be, but I have to ask you because you are a sage in the SEC. You've been around a long time, and I'm just curious. Auburn this morning announces that they're going to claim 7 other national championships, I guess, on their scoreboard. Your thoughts about schools claiming national championships from 1910?
Well, I'm not sure, how many of these things championships other schools are claiming. So I guess that'd be the first thing. If there's other schools that are, claiming the governing body's national titles that Auburn's claiming, I don't have an issue with it. To me, it's, it's window dressing. Past national championships really mean when you get right down to it. You had an undefeated Auburn team that didn't even get to play for a national title one year, whether they should or should not have. I suppose was that 2004 Auburn, if I'm not mistaken.
It was 2004. Don't forget about 1993 with them being on probation.
I don't forget about that. Yeah, I covered that team. They were the only undefeated team in the nation that year, and I think the only reason Terry Bowden didn't make more of an issue of it then was that his dad won his national title.
Yeah,
I believe that was Florida State's first national title. So no, I don't take issue with that. Big shrug here.
We will try to reconnect with Mike. It sounds like it's going to be one of those days, Conrad. Mike, are you there? Well, Molly's trying to pick up.
We'll find out. Yeah, I was going to ask him if he thought they needed to pressure wash Jordan Hare before they put the new years up on the stadium for the new national championships they recognize.
And that is interesting because 1993 Auburn went undefeated, and Florida State won the national championship that year. So Terry Bowden didn't go crazy. All right, Mike joins us back here. I was just curious, and we'll wrap up this national championship conversation. I'm just curious, how many does Georgia currently claim? I was just curious.
You know what? I'll be honest, off the top of my head, I don't even know.
Okay.
Obviously they won the 1980 and the 21 and 22. I believe there was another one in there, maybe 50 or 52, something like that. But again, today's world, there's I have a hard enough time trying to keep up with everything going on with the rule changes and NIL and the Georgia history that I have to know. And they have so many guys in the NFL right now. We do a weekly update on the Georgia players in the NFL, and of course they're starting to dominate a lot of NFL rosters with these draft classes Kirby's had, and that seems to be a lot more pertinent. I don't want to say history's not important, obviously it is, but when it comes to claiming national titles, prior to the BCS, you had at least 2. And then before that, there were several polls. And just the way college football was set up, a lot of times they would award national titles before bowl games were played, which really seems backwards now.
Yeah.
So it's, college football's changed in what it was and what it's becoming and, what people are trying to make it. You're hearing about this, super expanded playoff at the expense of, conference championship games and, that irritates me a bit. The Big Ten, is in some pretty major markets. And so when they make a proposal, it seems like there's a lot of steam behind it. And, we've gotten used to, Greg Sankey and the SEC kind of setting the tone and kind of letting people know how it was going to be or explaining why it was the way it was. And now it just seems like the Big Ten with their 2 national titles and owning these big major media markets in the Northeast and Los Angeles and Chicago, seems like they've kind of got a lot of steam behind what they want in terms of popular opinion. It's dangerous to me. They got a guy running that league that's not a football guy. He's a baseball guy and seems intent on making as much money as he can at whatever expense of the game or whatever alienation of the current fan base we have. So, hopefully the SEC will have a response to that. I haven't heard Commissioner Sankey say much about that. Like, he tries to work things out behind closed doors the right way, but it kind of sounds like the Big Ten's throwing some stuff out there for people to talk about. And it's a distraction and kind of irritates me at this point.
So, Mike, if you can kind of expand on what I think you're alluding to there with the Big Ten, and of course that being the, I guess, discussions around a potential 24 or even 28 team playoff while we're still here trying to figure out how to even get to 16. Just your initial reaction. I know the FCS does 24 and it seems to work for them, but your thoughts on a 24 or 28 team playoff in Division I?
Well, I mean, FCS is a lot different, right, than FBS, and always has been. And, the playoffs have worked for them. I guess my big issue, the first red flag for me is, the elimination of conference championship games. And, I think what the SEC has is special. I think the SEC championship game has, produced a lot of memorable moments. And I know that a lot of these coaches, players, winning the league means a lot to them. And, I'd hate to see that go by the wayside and kind of turn into the, SEC basketball tournament championship. It's, kind of completely overshadowed by the NCAA tournament. And that would disappoint me, and part of what's made college football so special is the regular season. And if you go to the playoff with 24, 28 teams, obviously that really gets watered down now. And, I understand the concept of trying to keep more fan bases engaged for a longer period of time and higher television ratings and more revenue. And, it is fast becoming a money sport. But I would hate to see college football lose the essence of what's made it so special for over 100 years. And that's the regular season. Those Saturdays matter. And they would still matter to some extent, but, much like the NFL regular season, I mean, there's a bit of a watered down effect to it. As there's more parity, I understand, why you might want to do that. But, I thought last year was a bit of an abomination. I didn't think a fourth place team from any league should host a first round playoff game. I don't have a problem if they get in the playoffs and win, but what happened with Ohio State and the way the College Football Playoff Selection Committee worked out with a Big Ten chairman in a year where it appeared the Big Ten got the benefit of the doubt and schedule strength was overlooked despite the directives from Rich Clark, the executive director. I had a problem with that. I kind of felt like the Big Ten pulled a fast one and got away with it. We know the year before they did with what, the sanctions and the information that's come out about Michigan's national championship season. And we know that vacating, and they didn't have to vacate the title, but even if they did, at the cost of $20 million, I think a lot of schools would pay $20 million for a championship. I mean, teams right now have rosters approaching 40, 50 million. So it's disappointing. The last couple of years, to me, the last 2 national titles have kind of had a taint about them. And, hopefully we'll get on track with a better college football playoff selection committee and seedings that align better with what the teams have earned on the field and more productive playoffs. That's the idea, right? I mean, the idea here is to try to reward the best teams, not make the most money. And to me, I think that's where the Big Ten's gotten sideways with Tony Petitti and the new commissioner who's come over from Major League Baseball without much of a football background or without much respect for the game, apparently.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about Georgia camp. Alabama got bad news after their second scrimmage as their top running back, Jam Miller, he is injured. They hope to get him back for the Georgia game. How's the health of the Georgia program coming through fall camp, and what can you tell us after a couple scrimmages there in Athens?
Yeah, that happened to Georgia last year. They were down to one scholarship running back for a large part of the year, and they were a different team when ETN was healthy. Obviously, they beat Texas twice with a healthy ETN, but they didn't have him healthy for much of the year. And it's part of football. It's unfortunate for Alabama, especially with Justice Haynes transferring to Michigan. That looks awful costly. I guess it's just surprising when you think about the players that have transferred out of Alabama, and how important Caleb Downs was last year at Ohio State to their national title, and the center that won the Remington Award that transferred out of Alabama. You think about Boyd, their best receiver was gone. You wonder what those three players could have done for Alabama. I think they would have been in the playoff. I certainly think they would have won at least one more game, if not two, with those players. You're not used to hearing Alabama lose players, key players. And now that Justice Haynes departure really looms large. From what I understand, I don't think they have any healthy returning backs with more than 160, 165 yards coming back.
Correct.
Yep. So, so now Kalen DeBoer's got to do what Georgia did last year, and he's got to get creative with how they run the ball. Extended handoffs, as they call them, right? The short pass, which serves the same purpose, a high percentage short pass that, first down that can get you those first few yards or keep you on schedule. So they've got to work around that. Again, that's what Georgia had to do when they won the SEC championship last year. He's a really talented coach, and Alabama's got talent, but that is a very, very costly injury. I guess where my mind goes is if that's your only healthy returning starting back, why what drill did this occur in? I mean, obviously you need to play some football, but I don't know the nature of the injury. I don't know how it occurred. I heard upper body collarbone. Usually that's a contact injury.
Yeah, it was during the scrimmage. It was during the scrimmage on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know how much you run a guy. It might have been the only carry they had planned for him. Might just be bad luck, but it's unfortunate. Alabama's one of the teams that I've got circled as a championship contender this year, and it's a big blow. And not just when he comes back, but how he comes back. Etienne came back and his ribs still weren't quite right. He had a shoulder. After the Kentucky game early in the year, he certainly wasn't 100% for Alabama. So, but it's part of the game, right? And the fact that they don't have depth is, I don't want to call it an oversight, but look, you play in the SEC, and you need to have 3 or 4 pretty strong big bodies back there. And again, Saban's departure, you're still kind of feeling the pain of that with players leaving. Really hurt the program when he left, the way he left, and when he left. I don't know how you plan for the departure of a legend like that. I don't know that there was a better way. It's just one of those things when you lose an all-time great, it's going to be hard to keep your personnel. And you look at some of the deep-pocketed programs that picked Alabama, whether it was Boyd going to Texas or Ohio State grabbing a few guys, Michigan now getting Justice Haynes. You hate to think that that players could be bought from Alabama. You like to think that's their first option, and that Alabama has whatever monies they need to keep them. But, Georgia lost their, most experienced edge rusher to Missouri. Damon Wilson went there, and Georgia lost a guy to Syracuse last year that's, looking pretty good as a rookie in the NFL. So Georgia's lost their guys. Jamon Dumas-Johnson went to Kentucky. It's happening. Some of the schools are kind of getting bought out a little bit. Just the nature of the beast, I guess. But Georgia's running back room is deep. We don't really know, what sort of star power. Nate Frazier was a freshman last year. Then they go through spring. We think he'll be better. But, are we talking about a DeAndre Swift presence or a Nick Chubb presence back there? I don't think so. We feel good about Georgia receivers, much improved from last year. How could they not be? They led the nation in drops. Zachariah Branch looks awful good. Noah Thomas has looked good, the transfer from Texas A&M. But again, I don't see Ladd McConkey or Brock Bowers coming out that tunnel. So, Georgia's not what they were in 21 or 22, but I don't know that you really can be, other than Ohio State and Texas. I don't really know how many other programs can really spend that kind of money to have that sort of star power.
That is Mike Griffith joining us from the AJC, moments away from hearing his weekly discussion with Kirby Smart. Before we let you go, I know the Gulf Coast right now, there's still some opportunities for folks. They want to take advantage of your wonderful property that I was able to take advantage of over the summer with my family. Just a wonderful place in Gulf Shores.
Yeah, and at 30% off, Pat, even less than you paid, amazingly.
It's amazing how much I paid and everybody else gets a better deal than me. It is so crazy how this works out.
Well, it was. July. Is
I was the guinea pig. I was the canary in the coal mine. Just admit it. That's what I was, right? No. It really wasn't like that.
The rates are seasonal, and while it is still a great time, usually people tell me the weather holds up there really through Thanksgiving, pretty nice, and some people like it when it's a little cooler and a little bit quieter. But September right now, I think this last week of August, I want to say the 21st through the 29th, I think we got a 30% off deal. If people are interested in that window right there, it's still pretty warm and balmy down there. And we got a couple stays in September booked, but there's some open weekends in September and October still. And they tell me that's a pretty awesome time to be down there. I'm always in football season, and I'm actually thinking of marrying my Auburn trip, Georgia's Auburn trip to that. If the condo doesn't get, but if customers come first, and I've got clients in there, then we'll stay there, and I'll find somewhere else, because the objective is to get people to give it a shot and see if they like it, get it at a discounted rate. If it's something they want to plan ahead for next year, they can reserve their weekend. But at Gulf Shores Getaway AL is the Instagram site that has that offer listed on there, and you can send a message and take a look at some weekends and see what kind of deal we can set you up with.
That is some great information. Mike, always appreciate your time on Tuesdays. We look forward to catching up with you next week, as it will be game week for everybody. Have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Look forward to it, guys.
Thanks. Appreciate it. That is Mike Griffith joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services. More three-man front. We've got text messages. We'll open up the phone lines, 1-800-239-WJOX. Hey, it's 10:51. Welcome back. This is Three-Man Front. A reminder for those that are probably packing up, ready for an extended lunch, you can still go have an extended lunch at Social Taco. Unfortunately, technical issues with some of our equipment this morning, so we will not be there today. So we will absolutely do a make good, and we will be back out there, and we'll let you know when, if not by next Tuesday. But I know a lot of people enjoy coming out and having some wonderful lunch and talk sports with us, and we just will not be there today.
Our buddy Larry from Homewood, he showed up before I left, and he said maybe this has something to do with Don Don. We're going to put this on Don Don.
Possibly so.
Or do we put this on John Cohen and Auburn for claiming those national championships? And the rest of the world just falls apart because they can't handle it.
That's right.
Our friends at Stark Exterminators want to remind you that while the warm weather is still here, you got to worry about the stinging, the biting insects that may serve a purpose there in the ecosystem, but they're no good when they're biting you, biting your kids, biting your guest when you're having folks over. Stark Exterminators, family-owned for over 61 years. They will come in for the free home or business pest inspection. Absolutely free today when you call 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. Their professional team member will come to your place, and they'll inspect it thoroughly inside and out. Any existing issues, they're going to take care of those and look for any issues that could come up down the road. Go with who I trust and so many other Jocks listeners trust. Stark Exterminators, 855-STARK now. Go to starkexterminators.com. When you do so, tell them Landrum from Jocks sent you.
So when everybody went to bed last night, Auburn had claimed 2 national championships. 2. This morning, if you woke up late, you got 7 more. So you've got 9 total. 1910, Auburn went 6-1. They're claiming that national championship. The recognized national championship belongs to Pittsburgh. That went 9-0 that season. 1913, Auburn went 8-0. The recognized national champion was Harvard. That went 9-0. 1914, Auburn went 8-0-1. The recognized title currently goes to Army. That was 9-0 on the season. 1957, we all recognize that. Auburn went 10-0, finished number 1. 1958, now this is where probably Matt Moscona, that's why he took his shot on Twitter this morning. Because in 1958, LSU went 11-0, and they were recognized as the national champion. Auburn went 9-0-1, so they're now claiming that national championship. 1983, we all remember that. They went 11-1. They were number 3 in most polls, but the New York Times declared them the computer champion in 1983. Miami finished that season number 1, so now Bama hater is probably irritated at Auburn. 1993, we all remember that. Auburn was on probation. You could not watch them on television.
Best team on radio, Pat.
The Iron Bowl was played on closed-circuit television. If you went to Bryant-Denny Stadium on Iron Bowl Saturday, you were able to watch that game inside the stadium. It was not available anywhere else in the state or the country. Auburn won the Iron Bowl on that historic day, but they were banned from the postseason because of NCAA issues. They are now claiming national championship, and what's so odd is that Terry Bowden was the head coach of that Auburn team. His Diddy, Bobby Bowden, won the national championship that year. So I guess there's a split national championship in that household. 2004, Auburn did not play for the national championship. They went 13-0. The title is recognized to go to the USC Trojans, who went 13-0, finished number 1. And we all remember 2010 when Cam Newton led Auburn to a perfect 14-0 record. So those are your now 9 national championships for the Auburn Tiger football team.
The 1914 team that went 8-0-1 did not allow a point all season. The one tie was at Georgia there at Grant Field.
It was 0-0?
Mm-hmm.
That is pretty impressive.
The 4th District Agricultural School that they played at Drake Field, second week of the season, that was your lettuce week. They won that one 60-0.
Was that a high school team?
4th District Agricultural School.
I'm not familiar with them. I've not seen the
of
tape on
Hamilton,
them.
Alabama.
They were a powerhouse, Pat.
Oh, Hamilton, Alabama.
Yep.
Okay.
They play ball up there. Interesting.
We'll get to your text messages, your calls as well. 1-800-239-WJOX.